All right, good afternoon. Kickoff 90. What a day if you have been watching the World Cup and you are an American. The U.S. qualifies to the next round of the World Cup. They will be facing a rather challenging Netherlands team in the next round. Very exciting, although controversial. We need to talk about this and we need to be real with ourselves. We have a lot more to learn as a young team in order to be as competitive as we would like to be. That's right, guys. I am high on this victory. Very excited for the U.S. national team to go to the next round. As an American, that's the dream you want to see, right? But we need to be honest. And what we witnessed today was not our best game, nor are we seeing a team that's growing and growing, right? And I'm talking strictly on the field performance. Okay. But I think there's a lot of positives in this. So one of the big positives for me is the United States is one of the youngest teams in the tournament. And we're not even using some of our younger guys. One notable name is Gio Reyna. That's a hell of a talent at Borussia Dortmund. We are a very young team. What do young teams do, right? Young youth innocence, what typically have a lot of naivete, right? They typically go into games. They think they've won the game 1-0 and they don't know that they have a full other half to play. They have another 30 minutes. They have 10 minutes of added time at the end. That showed. This team showed its youth in today's game, right? Also, one of the areas that youth needs, nothing is better than experience, right? So one of the big things that I hear a lot of people say about the U.S. players is, oh, let's send all of our youth out into at Germany or into Belgium. We've had a few in Belgium, or send them to the Premier League. That's all great in games. It's all great. It's all fantastic. Although there's one thing. If you're sitting on the bench at Werder Bremen or at Royal Antwerp or at Nice, France, and you're not playing, you're not gaining that experience, right? I'll give you an example of why a guy like Jude Bellingham for England is frightening for every nation is looking at this kid thinking, man, the kid is under 20. He has over 150 games for Borussia Dortmund. He has over 20 senior goals for them. He's captained them. He's played in over 30 Champions League games. And now he's scoring goals for England and dominating a double pivot midfield for the Three Lions. That is invaluable because he has youth, meaning there's been less injuries usually in his life. So there's no wear and tear. And now he's combining that with intelligence, game learning, and the experience of real actual playing time against senior pros. That's something that we as the United States need to develop. And the beauty about it is we're doing it right now during this World Cup. This young team is going to get that kind of experience in the next rounds against the Netherlands. And mind you, I am not saying that they will not beat the Netherlands. They very well could. It's anyone's game in the knockout stages. And I'll be curious to see how our coach responds. I do applaud our coach for making a change in the back with Cameron Wickers. That was a good change, physical defender, and that was needed. Iran is a very physical team, and they showed it today, and we challenged them. But do not be fooled. If you think this is a Story Cup ending, this will not be a Disney story, okay? The United States will face a better team that will play real football and throw them off the park, sadly. But this experience, okay, these games is what is going to prepare us for the next World Cup, for the next Gold Cup, etc. And this team has a extremely bright future. I'm very excited and happy to see this team go through. Let's talk about some of the other teams, right? A lot of talk was on the Germany-Spain game. I thought that Spain came into this game with probably the most overrated team in the tournament, right? They dismantled Costa Rica. It showed better team. They outpassed them. They outplayed them. And the Spanish are possessing the ball. They're doing exactly what they do best, which is possession. I think Rodri and Busquets averaged the most passes out of the World Cup at this stage. Not surprising. Interestingly enough, they've actually kind of switched the positions in the sense that Busquets has typically been the one who's played center back when there's been another CDM to to play his role. It's funny because they've actually done the opposite in this World Cup with Rodri playing further back and Busquets playing in front of him. So very interesting game, right? The Spanish came out firing, played their rhythm. The Germans look out of whack. I'd love to speak to somebody who watches Germany day in, day out. They look completely off touch. Interestingly enough, too, the Germans have always had this approach of, okay, we have a very strong league. We have very strong players, German players play in a German league. They have that continuity that from club to international. That's been their model for a few years now. And it's paid dividends, to be honest. They've won a World Cup during that time, and they've excelled in most of the tournaments. And you would think the front four, who all play for Bayern Munich, right? They made a change in their last game in their striker, but the striker from Werder Bremen, but they all know each other, right? So you would have thought the connection would have been there, and it's not. They've got Goretzka and Kimmich behind them. Again, you think the connection's there. It's not like it's not what was expected. So I'd love to understand from the Germans' point of view what the actual problem is. I think it's complete. There doesn't look like there's a lot of good team chemistry within that team. It doesn't look like they have a clear-cut idea of how they want to play and how they want to dismantle teams. The British know how they want to dismantle teams, and it shows. The French know they have a plan. There is a strategy of how they want to attack teams. You've seen that. Some of the other games, very disappointing from the Canadians, from our neighbors up north. You could tell, again, not a lot of experience in the major tournaments. That showed in their last game. The Croatians finally decided to wake up. People forget this, guys. The Croatians went to the last World Cup final. You guys remember this? Perisic scored. There was Luka Modric there, Brozovic. Yeah, this is a team that went all the way to the World Cup final. They finally woke up. I understand there was some drama, if you followed, with the Canadian coach that kind of woke them up. But they finally woke up. They're playing good ball. I'm very curious. I really like their defender. I know I'm butchering the name. Gvardiol in the back. I believe he signed a pre-contract with Chelsea. Fantastic, plays at Leipzig. A fantastic center back, good on the ball, good in the air, strong, but really intelligent. So they're finally waking up. This is a team that could go far. Today we also learned some other interesting news. So the Ecuadorians will be going home. This was a team that I really liked. Couldn't cut it at the end, which is, when you're playing some of these nations, some of these games, right? Some of these games are like a chessboard, and some of them are like an all-out, dodgeball tournament, right? Where it's just attacking back and forth. And you can tell that based off some of these different teams, how they play. Typically, in the past, South American teams and the African nations have been accused of kind of playing that style of ball, with the Europeans playing a little bit more of a chess piece, one piece at a time. We go one stage. So it's always really interesting to see when like two different styles come up against one another. And so that's what I'm really interested about in the next coming games, right? If you guys watch that Argentina-Mexico game, both teams kind of, very hard tackles, setting the tone, not going to be intimidated in the first 20, 30 minutes. And all it takes is a little piece of magic, right? A little bit of flair to unlock. So these games have just been really, really neat to watch as a soccer lover. So we're coming up here on 9 minutes and 30 seconds. Tomorrow, I will be going live with a very special guest who I went to school with. We're going to be answering some of these soccer questions for someone who just started watching soccer this year. So we're going to answer some of those questions that some of you guys may have. And comment in the videos, shoot me messages. I'd love to know, what are your thoughts? Which teams look interesting to you? Are we hot on any particular team? Do we think the U.S. will go far? Are Brazil still the favorites? I'd love to have these discussions with you guys. We've got a lot of soccer knowledge here in the chat and in the comments, so please don't hesitate to continue. And we will talk tomorrow live with my special guest. I'll leave you guys tonight, and fantastic. Congratulations, United States, and congratulations to the other nations as well. The nation of Senegal, the Netherlands, and of course the Three Lions. Is it coming home? I don't think so, but the British sure think so. So I will see you guys tomorrow, guys. As always, this is Kickoff 90. Like and subscribe if you like the video. Have a great night. Bye-bye.